Mohammed, we have spent an immense amount of time this morning talking about Germany. What will be the reaction of the other Euro members?
Good morning, Tom. I think they're going to look at this and wonder what will happen next to them. It's important to understand the nature of the contagion that's going on. It is not economic. Greece is too small. It is not financial. This is purely technical. The next step, if Greece continues on the road to an exit, is a redenomination of the currency. And that is a very different element of contagion. So they're going to look forward, and they're going to be thinking now, how do we reduce our exposure to contagion, and what can the regional institutions, particularly the ECB, do to help us?
You have been out front on the idea of a new currency. What to those that believe Greece can stay and use the euro, what do they get wrong?
Well, there are two narratives. There's a political narrative where everybody says we'd like Greece to stay in the Eurozone. Then there are the facts on the ground. Greece is now going through what economists call a sudden stop. When you close the banking system, you trigger cascading failure throughout the economy. And when that happens, it is very difficult for politicians to remain in control of the economy. So my call about what happens next comes from having observed in the past what sudden stops do to policymakers. Right. And recognizing that it's actually very hard to control your own destiny once you're in a sudden stop.
And Vani, I would make note that Dr. El-Erian uses a sudden stop almost in a mathematical sense, that you have an abrupt stop, and then you've got many T decisions to make, which lead to jump conditions in the markets.
Right, exactly, and that's one of the reasons why it's so urgent, I suppose, to have that not occur. Mohammed, you know, Tobias Levkovich is with us, and he made a good point earlier. All Merkel has to do is point out to Germans that it's some of their jobs that are at stake if Greece leaves the euro, because Germany has been lending money to Greece and obviously won't get it all back if there is a default. Why would she not want to do that?
Because, Vani, there's massive uncertainty. So even if you deliver a massive debt reduction to Greece, and Greece needs that, there are no guarantees that Greece will come through on the reforms. So you have a situation where neither side trusts the other. And in a negotiation, when you don't have trust, it's very difficult to take the first step. So you have this typical game theory in which you cannot get a cooperative outcome. And that's the tragedy of Greece. It is not hard to solve from an engineering perspective, but it is very hard to solve when the two sides don't trust each other.
Mohammed, if Greece decides to exit this Sunday and they effectively rip up their debt notes, this poses potentially a capital problem for the ECB, does it not?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be losses throughout the system. I'm not too worried about the ability of Europe to navigate this. I think a lot has been done in the last 3 years to ensure that Europe can navigate a Greek exit. There is one legal uncertainty, which is the redenomination. It is not clear what happens when you go from a currency you do not own, the euro, to a currency you do own, and you redenominate contracts. That is the big legal uncertainty out there. Otherwise, Europe has the tools to deal with contagion.
Dr. El-Erian, how many degrees of freedom does Angela Merkel have right now?
Few, because she doesn't control facts on the ground in Greece. You had a wonderful comment earlier in the show, which I wrote down, which is facts have changed on the ground. This is a different Greece. This is a Greece that's now in the intensive care unit. It will emerge from the intensive care unit, but it will be much smaller in terms of the size of its economy, and it's likely to be a different economy. And it's very important to understand that facts had changed on the ground.
Mohammed El-Erian, thank you so much, particularly for your contributions to Bloomberg View over the weekend. Dr. El-Erian, of course, writing for Bloomberg View.